First and foremost, all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bukakadash. Double honors to all of the elders, the apostles, and the prophets that are out here bringing sincere truth and helping edify the people. Today we're just gonna we're gonna go in on Paul a little bit today and the Christians, because I noticed that Christians like to celebrate church on Sunday, and whatever they do on Sunday, we keep the Most High's law. So I'm just going to show you that, because they said, well, Paul taught on Sunday. You know what Paul did on Sunday? We're going to find out in this class. We're also going to find out a few other things that Paul did every single day of the week. But first and foremost, go ahead and give me John 17 and 17.
John 17:17. Then said some of his disciples among themselves.
17.
Oh, I'm at 16. Shalak. John 17:17. Sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth.
So today, we're going to get into the truth about what Paul was really doing. Because these Christians like to act like he was keeping a holy Sabbath on a Sunday. Let's find out if that's true or not. In fact, let's start with the Christians. I'll put this down for a minute. The Christian church says that you're supposed to worship on Sunday, which is a Constantine thing, that he incorporated pagan worship and Christian worship together to, I don't know what he was trying to do, honestly. I can't really speculate on that. But it caused a lot of confusion, and now people think they're supposed to worship on Sunday according to that. I don't see where that happened. It doesn't say that in the Bible anywhere, so let's clarify some things. On March 7th, 321 AD, after death, Sunday, which was to Christians as the day of Christ's resurrection. We already know that's on the wrong day. And to the Roman sun god Sol Invictus was declared an official day of rest. So Sol Invictus is the Roman god that you're worshiping on Sunday. Has nothing to do with this book. Just saying. On that day, markets were banned and public offices were closed, except for the purpose of freeing slaves. But wait a second. I see cops. I see one right there. I'm standing right by the courthouse. What I do notice is that the jails are open and the cops are on the streets patrolling. The courthouse isn't open though, so how could you free anybody? The way it's set up, it's only set up for incarceration, so we know that that's a lie. So the only reason why these people are out on the streets is to put us in jail, not to free us slaves. And believe me, we're slaves still. Anyway, let's move on. Let's get Revelation 12 and 9. Revelation chapter 12 and verse 9.
Revelation 12:9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels cast out with him.
And his angels were cast out with, you know, it's funny, the word angel means messenger, so he has his own messengers too, right? But what I really want to say is the reproduction of this book. Think about it. The reproduction of this book and the reteaching the truth into lies is how he deceived the whole world. He had to start right here at our foundation. So what did they do? They rewrote the Bible. They gave you the NIV, the new, what is it, the Living Bible,
The ESV, English Standard Version.
the English Standard Version, and then you got like even the books to break down the Bible. You got the Strongs, right? the Strong's Concordance. Well, you've got the KJV, you got the NIV, the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. They've got the new Zondervan Bible Dictionary that's a NIV. Why do they keep rewriting these books? Why can't they stick with the original breakdown? Because they don't want you to know the truth. If they keep changing it a little bit, then you keep being confused. You stay confused, in fact. You stay confused. In fact, changing the dates, the times, Babylonian worship, and calling it Christian worship. I mean, think about it. They took everything we had and destroyed it, and then told us, no, this is how it's supposed to be. Let's go to the book of Acts. We're gonna get into Paul now. Let's see what Paul was doing. Book of Acts, chapter 20 and verse 7.
Acts 20, verse 7. And upon the first day of the week, when the disciples came together to break bread, Paul preached unto them, ready to depart on the morrow, and continued his speech until midnight.
Now I want you to pay very close attention to what they just said right there. It said, on the first day of the week, upon the first day of the week, when the disciples came together to break bread. When the disciples came together to break bread. Then Paul teached. So let's find out why I'm saying it like that. We'll come back to that. Let's go ahead and jump over to the book of Acts. We'll stay in the book of Acts, chapter 20. But what we're gonna do is just jump up. These names of these places are really hard to pronounce. But start at verse 13 and read. Just give me 13 through 16. These are tough. We're probably gonna chew them up and spit them at you. But you know what? I'm gonna prove a point too. Go ahead.
Acts 20 and 13. And we went before to ship, and sailed unto Assos, there intending to take Paul, for so happened he appointed, minding himself to go afoot.
So Paul wanted to, and he's like, you know what, I just want to go by myself on foot. Okay, go ahead.
And when he met with us at Assos, we took him in and came to Myleene. And we sailed thence and came the next day over against Chios. And the next day we arrived at Samos, and tarried at Trogyllium, and the next day we came to Miletus. For Paul had determined to sail by Ephesus, because he would not spend the time in Asia. For he hasted, if it were possible for him, to be at Jerusalem the day of Pentecost.
So what my point is here is every day Paul was in a different spot from the first day of the week into the Shabbat. He was in a different place teaching. So that just destroys only the whole he taught on Sunday thing. Well, he always taught on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and of course on the Shabbat. So let's go ahead and go backwards in Acts to chapter 2, and we're going to go read verse 46.
Acts 2:46. And they continued daily with one accord in the temple, and breaking bread from house to house, did eat their meat with gladness and singleness of heart.
So when they were breaking bread from house to house, he was preaching the word. He was teaching the scriptures, and he was trying to wake up his brothers and sisters. That's what it means by they were breaking bread from house to house, and they were eating. It's a twofold, I guess. They were actually eating, but breaking bread. Every time they talked about Paul breaking bread, he was bringing out the word. I showed you that in Acts 20 and 7. He preached until the middle of the night. Go ahead and give me verse 47. Sorry about that.
Praising God and having favor with all the people, and the Lord added to the church daily such as should be saved.
So, proof. Adding to the church daily. praising God, having favor with all the people, and the Lord added to the church daily such as should be saved. So all the people that the Most High already chose to be saved, he was bringing them to Paul, and Paul was waking them up daily. So that means everywhere he went, he taught on the daily, and he added to the body of Christ daily. So let's jump over to 1 Corinthians, because now I'm going to show you guys something. I'm going to go to Acts 20 and 7. You go to 1 Corinthians and give me 1 and 2. Starting from the top.
1 Corinthians 1. Paul, called to be an apostle of Yahushua, Mashiach, through the will of Yahweh, and Sosthenes, our brother, unto the church of Yahweh, which is in Corinth, to them that are sanctified in Yahushua, called to be saints, with all that are in
1 Corinthians 16. Yeah, 16. Sorry about that. 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 1 and 2. I was like, man, that's not lining up with the scripture. That was not the precept. All right, 16, starting from the top.
Salam. All right. Now, concerning the collections from the saints, as I have given order to the churches of Galatia, even so do ye. Upon the first day of the week, let every one of you lay by him in store, as Yahweh hath prospered him, that there be no gatherings when I come.
Wait a second. This is the first day of the week. This is Sunday. He said, do not gather when I come. No changing the Sabbath, but get together and gather up the collections on the first day. And now let me go back to Acts 20 and 7. So now that we know that we're getting the collections together first on Sunday, we're doing all the work first. And now let me read 7:2. And upon the first day of the week, when the disciples came together to break bread, what did he say? That don't come together now. He said, get all the collections together. Don't come together in my name and turn this into a Shabbat. He's saying, and now let me read 7 again though. And upon the first day of the week, when the disciples came together to break bread. So after all their work was done, they came together to break bread. And then he taught into the middle of the night. So, for all of you Christians, you might want to look into that. He taught every day of the week. Just because somebody told you, the vain imagination and precepts of men told you to worship on Sunday, they were wrong. They lied to you. They hate you. They hate God. That's all there is to it. They hate Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakadash. How can you love something but speak against it? It doesn't make sense. Colossians. Let's move on from that and go to Colossians. Chapter 2 and verse 16.
Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of any holy day, or of the new moon, or of the Shabbat days.
And the reason why I want to bring that verse out is because when I was a kid, I grew up in the hood in LA in a place called Pomona. And honestly, if you got caught going to church, you're liable to get beat up, because for some reason it was on everybody's spirit to not believe the pastor of the church. My generation, the generation X, we didn't believe you. We didn't believe the church. In fact, nobody went to church where I'm from. And the churches were packed. I'm trying to figure out, where are these people coming from to go to the church? But like I said, they would make fun of you just for going to church. But we keep the real law, statutes, and commandments. So nowadays it's the same thing. My neighbors are getting ready for Halloween. They're putting up all their decorations. They're getting their costumes. I think they're making a fucking haunted house over there. They look at us like we're crazy. You guys are crazy. You don't celebrate Halloween? Oh, you're just weird. But let no man judge you for keeping the Shabbat, because that's what this is all about. We keep our Sabbath days, we keep our high holy days, and we're happy. And you know what? When somebody mocks me for it, I get excited inside, like, yes, the Most High dealing with me. I found it joyful to be shamed in his name. I think it's great. All right, he's dealing with me. These are just trials and tribulations. Hasten not in time of trouble. Be joyful in thy low estate. I already know this stuff. Great, it's really happening. Let's move on though. Colossians chapter 2. We're gonna go backwards a little bit to verse 8. And this is why you don't want anybody to judge you for keeping the Shabbat. Watch. Go ahead in Colossians 2 and 8.
2 and 8.
Well, that one's getting old. This Bible about 40, 50 years old, honestly.
Taking my time, but beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Yahushua.
So, beware. While they're judging you, you know what they're actually doing? They're persuading you to be like them. You're not like me, you're weird. You can't do this. Oh man, I don't know about you. So, beware lest any man spoil you through. And you know what spoil means to steal. And you know what he's stealing from you? This wisdom. And he's planting his philosophies in place of this wisdom. So watch out. Stick strong to your law, statutes, and commandments. Stay true to this book, because they've been coming after us in every way, shape, and form they can. And the next move is to confuse everything about this book so people won't even believe it. Like they haven't been doing that for the whole time, but now they're really going in deep on confusion. I mean, I've heard so many bad breakdowns in the last 3 weeks. I almost don't even want to be on or even go near YouTube anymore. I might just stick with the Bible. I got my prophets over there at GMS who have not changed what they've said in all these years. So there's still some hope out there. Let's don't be fooled by the traditions of men. Let's jump over to Genesis 2 and 2. Let's find out how we're actually supposed to keep the Sabbath real quick. 2 and 2.
Genesis 2 and 2.
Mm-hmm. Just read 1 through 3. Why not? Oh shit! Here, this Bible's so old. Genesis 2 and 2 ain't happening in this book. Just go 1 through 3.
Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day, Yahweh ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made.
Keep going.
And Yahweh blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it he had rested from all his work which Yahweh created and made.
So on the seventh day, we're getting close now. We know that rest is on the seventh day. I was going to bring a calendar with me so I could show you guys that the seventh day of the week, the last day of the week, is Saturday. Sunday is the first day of the week. Why do you think Paul says, don't gather together in my name trying to make it into a Shabbat? No. He's saying on the seventh day, we take a rest. But on the first day of the week, we do our works first, and then go back to the Most High, and then go back to worshiping and teaching each other. But I just wanted to say that. Let's jump forward now. Let's go over to Exodus 31 and 13.
Exodus 31:13. Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily my Shabbats ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am the Lord that doth sanctify you.
That was 13.
Exodus.
Oh, I'm in Genesis. No wonder I was like, read that again. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I went I went into brainless mode. I went to the right chapter, wrong book. 31. Sorry about that, guys. Exodus 31 and 13. Would you do that again?
Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily, my Shabbats ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am Yahweh, the Lord, that doth sanctify you.
You know the funny thing about that, it's telling just the Israelites, we are required to keep the Shabbats. You other nations, you guys actually, you know what, you got an option right now. You don't have to do this. If you want to show your allegiance to the truth and be a part of whatever part they may give you in the kingdom as a slave, that's great. But honestly, you guys don't have to do this. This is for us. This book was written for us. It was written by the Creator, according to the book of Exodus, that he put his finger on those tablets to rewrite them after, what is that, 34 and 1 and 2? Exodus 34 and 1 and 2 real quick. I'm right here, one page one. Let's see if I'm right. Let's see if I'm right. And the Lord said unto Moses, hew thee 2 tablets of stone like unto the first, and I will write upon these tablets the words that were on the first tablet, which thou breakest. So who wrote the law, statutes, and commandments again? That's right. Yahweh wrote it. Made me forget everything I was talking about. But it said for us to keep your Sabbaths throughout your generations. He's talking to us. He wrote these laws for us. He took his own finger and wrote these laws for us. Nobody else was given this book. Everybody else tries to rewrite the book. They want to change it up a little so they can be included. But I'm going to tell you right now, this book was only for us. So really, as of right now, I'm only talking literally just for the Israelites. Just Yasharal. You guys have to keep the high holy days. You guys have to stop trying to make Sunday your day of worship when it's on a Saturday. You guys are going to have to stop going out Friday night, going out Saturday all day, spending, buying, selling, trading, cooking, cleaning, running, jumping, everything. You got to stop everything and come back to the law, statutes, and commandments and make it a day of rest. But let's move on to Exodus 31. Let's go ahead and read we were at 13. Let's read, I got it, 16. Yeah, read 16 and 17, then we'll go back to 15.
Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Shabbat, to observe the Shabbat throughout their generations, for a perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days Yahweh made heaven and earth, and on the 7th day he rested and was refreshed.
Now give me, wait. So, forever, to all generations. That's the second time we've said that. This is to all generations. So, my grandchildren's grandchildren's grandchildren should be keeping this same Shabbat. In fact, give me 15.
6 days may ye work be done, but in the 7th it is the Shabbat of rest, holy to Yahweh. Whosoever doth any work in that day, he shall surely be put to death.
Now the thing is it's to all generations. This never changes. Now we're getting back into a grace period. Since you guys don't know anything anymore, he's giving you a grace period to learn it all again. Because you have to get this, because once the grace period's over and you're caught bullshitting around like this on the Shabbat, he's going to put you to death according to Scripture. Let's go ahead and jump over to. I was going to go to Exodus 20 and 10.
But the 7th day is the Shabbat of the Lord Yahweh. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy maidservant, nor thy maidservant.
Manservant, nor thy maidservant.
Manservant or maidservant. Nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
Not even that. Animals will be working. Not even that. And if you have strangers in your gates, you want to get into stranger auction, great. whoever your stranger is in your gate, they ain't working either. Verse 11.
For in 6 days Yahweh made heaven and earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore Yahweh blessed the Shabbat day and hallowed it.
He made it hallowed. He set it apart from all the other days. That's why we call it the day of rest, because every other day is not a day of rest. Go ahead and jump backwards a little to Exodus chapter 16 and give me verse 23. You know what? Start at start at 21.
Exodus 16:21. And they gathered it together.
We're talking about manna, the manna that fell from the sky, and in the morning there would be manna, and then in the afternoon it would kind of melt away. So we're going to start there. That's what the story we're talking about, so you have context of what's going on. Go ahead.
And they gathered it every morning, every man according to his eating. And when the sun waxed hot, it melted. And it came to pass that on the 6th day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for one man. And all the rulers of the congregation came told Moshe. And he said unto them, This is that which Yahweh hath said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Shabbat unto Yahweh. Bake that which ye will bake today, and see it that ye will see, and that which remaineth overlay it for you to be kept until the morning.
So that's why we call it the pre-Shabbat. You do all of your cooking, all your boiling, seethe, boil, bake, all your fire cooking. Go ahead.
And they laid it up till the morning, as Moshe bade, and it did not stink, neither was there any worm therein. And Moshe said, Eat that today, for today is Shabbat unto Yahweh. Today ye shall not find it in the field. 6 days ye shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Shabbat, in it there shall be none.
And go ahead and give me one more verse for all of the fools out there that decided to go out on the 7th day and look for food.
And it came to pass that there went out some of the people on the 7th day to gather, and they found none.
They found none, because the Most High told them, gather it on the 6th day, because on the 7th day there wouldn't be any. All right. Let's keep rebuking this working on the Sabbath day. Let's go to the Book of Nehemiah. That might not be Nehemiah is right after Ezra. You know what? I had a hard time finding it. Yeah, I had a hard time finding it this morning, and I was like, man, I had to open up the glossary or whatever it was at the beginning. 13, Nehemiah 13, and chapter 13 and verse 15.
And in those days saw I in Yehuda some trading wine presses on the Shabbat, and bringing in sheaves and lading asses, as also wine, grapes, and figs, and all manner of burdens, which they brought into Jerusalem on the Shabbat day. And I testified against them in the day wherein they sold victuals.
So he got mad at them for working on Shabbat. He's like, what are you guys doing? How are you going to... He protested against them for doing this. Go ahead and read 16.
There dwelt men of Tyre also therein, which brought fish and all manner of ware, and sold on the Shabbat, until the children of Yehuda and in Jerusalem.
And so they were buying, they were selling, they were trading, they were working, they were cleaning. They were, what you name You go into the Levitical law and name what you're not supposed to be doing on the Shabbat, and they were doing it. Go ahead. Verse 18. Sorry.
Did not your fathers thus? Did not our Yahweh bring all this evil upon us and upon this city? And yet ye bring more wrath upon Israel by profaning the Shabbat.
So he's telling them that we're getting cursed, and you guys are adding to it by breaking the Most High's Shabbat, by following your own vain imaginations, but doing what you want, in other words. But go ahead.
And it came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Shabbat, I commanded that the gates should be shut, and charged that they should not be opened till after the Shabbat. And some of my servants set I at the gates, that there should be no burden be brought in on the Shabbat day.
Okay, so he decided to take action. He's like, okay, you guys are going to be buying and selling. I'm going to shut the gates. I'm not going to let any of these people in. Nobody should come in. And the burden, when it says burden, it's talking about like when they're bringing in the merchandise for selling, buying and selling. That's a burden, because you have that coming in anyway. So a burden is all the buying and selling and trading by those people coming in with all their merchandise. They can't do that. There will be none. And read it.
So the merchants and sellers of all kind of were lodged without Jerusalem once or twice. Then I testified against them and said unto them, why lodge ye about the wall? If ye do so again, I will lay hands on you. From that time forth came they no more on the Shabbat.
So Nehemiah used a very popular term that we use to this day. He said, you come over the gates again during our high holy day, we're going to put hands on you. And you know who says that. You know who we putting them hands on you. So they decided, and now if you really just break it down in your mind and think about it, Nehemiah told these people one time and they didn't come back. You've got to imagine what he looked like. I mean, he must have been not the dude to mess with. I mean, just to be able to tell him once, hey man, come back over here again, we'll put hands on you. Imagine that, right? Let's move on. We're almost out of here. Let's go to don't forget about the church. Okay, yeah, that. Okay, Isaiah 58 and 13. That's inside joke. Don't forget about the church barbecue. On Sunday, you know that's their high holy day.
Isaiah what?
58 and 13. 58 and 13.
Isaiah 58:13. If thou turn away thy foot from the Shabbat, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Shabbat a delight, the holy of Yahweh, honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thy own ways, nor finding thy own pleasure, nor speaking thy own words.
Okay, so your own ways, your daily pleasures back then was sex. So you're not supposed to be having sex on the Shabbat. Plain and simple. That would be your own ways. That would be your daily pleasure. What else? I mean, we're talking biblical times. They didn't have like Wi-Fi, YouTube, and everything that comes with that. They don't have all of these distractions that we have today. It was a little bit more basic. So basically, that's what they were doing. That was their daily pleasure. So if you withdraw from your daily pleasure and take delight in the Sabbath, calling it a delight, instead of it, this isn't a grievous day. I don't understand how people call this, oh man, it's not, oh man. How can this be hard? You have nothing to do. Everything was taken care of yesterday. I mean, you want to sleep all day. You're allowed to sleep all day. How hard is that? Nobody can tell you, hey, don't sleep all day. It's the Shabbat. No, man, it's the day of rest. I got to get my rest on. You see what I'm saying? You make it grievous by wanting to do all of your worldly garbage That's why it's hard for you to do the Shabbat. That's why the Shabbat would be grievous. But read 14.
Then shalt thou delight thyself in Yahweh, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Yaakov thy father, for the mouth of Yahweh hath spoken it.
So there you have it. Don't have your own pleasure. These are not my words. These are Yahweh's words. So I'm not speaking my own words on this day. And by doing that, then shalt thou delight thyself in Yahweh. I am happy that I'm doing what he wants me to, because I've done what he doesn't want me to do before, and it seemed like there was a lot of consequences involved. Whether I, most people will be like, what do they call it? A coincidence. Oh, that was just a coincidence. It was just a coincidence that you got judged accordingly on a perfect timeline according to your judgment. I think it's beautiful. But the Lord will, but you keep the laws, you do what he wants you to, he's going to cause you to ride on the high places of the earth and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob and my father. So in other words, he's going to let us understand this book. This is our heritage. He's going to teach us how to be ourselves again. He's going to feed us with the knowledge of our forefathers. That's good food for me. It makes me feel healthy. And I got a whole bunch more to go through. But what we're going to do is we're going to cut a little bit short. I got a whole nother, I could go for the whole day on going on Christians. But instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip right to the part, what about when everything's said and done, we've fulfilled all the prophecies, it's time to go to the kingdom. What about the Shabbat in the kingdom? That's what we're going to get into, and then we're going to close out with that. In fact, go ahead and give me Ezekiel 46. Just read like 1 through 3, and then verse 6 after we go through it. 1 through
3. Ezekiel 46. Thus saith Yahweh, the gate of the inner court that looketh toward the east shall be shut the 6 working days, but on the Shabbat it shall be open, and in the day of the new moon it shall be open.
You know what's funny about that? For 6 working days, that door's going to be shut, but on the Shabbat, it's going to be open. All them Christians are going to show up on Sunday when the door is closed again. Go ahead. Slam.
And the prince shall enter by the way of the porch of that gate without, and shall stand by the post of the gate. And the priest shall prepare his burnt offering and his peace offerings.
Hold on. So, yes, we will continue to do the burnt offerings. So there is going to be sacrifices. And how would you eat anyway without correctly sacrificing the animal? You're not going to have these giant food chains helping you out. But go ahead.
And he shall worship at the threshold of the gate. Then he shall go forth, but the gate shall not be shut until the evening. Likewise, the people of the land shall worship at the door of this gate before Yahweh in the Shabbat and in the new moons.
And we'll just jump up to 6 because this is getting into the burnt offerings and the meat offerings. Like I said, we are still going to be doing all that. So go ahead and we're going to pick up where we left off. That's why he's trying to give us this grace period so we can get our minds right, because he can't dwell with unrighteousness.
And in that day of the new moon it shall be a young bullock without blemish, and 6 lambs, and a ram, they shall be without blemish. And he shall prepare a meat offering, an ephah for a bullock, and an ephah for a ram, and for the lambs, according as his hand shall attain unto, and an hin of oil to an ephah. And when the prince shall enter, he shall go in by the way of the porch of the gate, and he shall go forth by the way thereof.
So it's very specific what's going to be happening on the Shabbat. Very specific. The sacrifices are going to be back. He's going in from one gate. He's coming out the other. The gates are closed all week. You show up on Sunday, ain't nobody going to be there. Maybe there'll be somebody there, but the gates ain't going to be open. Let's jump over to the book of Isaiah, and now let's find out. Now we know what the format is, like how it's going to go down. Everybody's going to come here. He's going to come in this way, leave out that way. The gates are going to stay open. They're going to be doing burnt offerings. We're going to be doing the peace offerings. We'll be burning the incense. But wait, there's more. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 66, and we're going to start at, well, let me get that. So I need to go in. 66 and we're going to start at verse 22. So this is what we are actually physically going to be doing. So let's find out what is it that we're going to be doing on the Shabbat in the kingdom.
Isaiah 66:22. For as the new heavens and the new earth, which I will make, shall remain before me, saith Yahweh, so shall your seed and your name remain. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Shabbat to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith Yahweh.
All flesh. So no matter whether you're going to be a slave, no matter who you are, you will worship. And keep going.
And they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of the men that have transgressed against me, for their worms shall not die, neither shall their fire be quenched, and they shall be an abhorring unto all flesh.
So, and then we're going to go forth on the Shabbat. And we're going to look upon all of the dead, undying souls that transgressed against the Most High. And when are we going to do that? From one new moon to the next. From one Sabbath to the next. So, it says it right there in verse 23. And it shall come to pass from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, we're going to come worship before the Lord. And we're going to go forth and look upon the dead carcass. So we're also going to be doing that, because maybe he needs to keep reminding us that we were also in that state at one point. And with that being said, I'm going to go back to the Christians for one more minute. We're going to and then we're going to close out there. The Romans changed the Shabbat to Sunday worship. I proved it. Well, I didn't prove that they clearly do it. Nobody has to prove it. Just go to church on Sunday. But I proved that the Shabbat or the Sabbath is on Saturday. And if you really want to get into it, it's from when the sun goes down. It's from sunset. From when the sun sets is the new day. And let me just show you real quick. So we know that it goes from Friday evening to Saturday evening. And how do I know? Watch this. Let me just go to let's just pick out a random verse out of Genesis. Let's see if we can do that. And verse 5, and God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And evening and the morning were the first day. Evening and morning were the first day. So the first day was the evening. It didn't say in the morning was the first day. No, evening and morning. That is your first day. Okay? Yep. Yep. Let me go to verse 8. God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. I can go on all the way for the whole 7 days, but do we really need to do that? No. We know that the seventh day is the Shabbat. And when the sun goes down on the sixth day, on Friday when the sun goes down, that's actually the beginning of your Shabbat. So, the so-called white Christian Jesus is actually your new sun god. Not new now. I mean, he's been around for 2,000 years. You're worshiping the crap out of him too. But the thing is that you're actually worshiping Sol Invictus, And that's what they've been trying to do to you the whole time. So for all of my Yasharal Israelites, if you have ears to hear and eyes to see, I can only hope that you got something out of this message. Oh yeah, and Jesus, the white Jesus, is the image of the modern Babylonian God, like I said, and the Roman God, Sol Invictus, they're all the same thing. Shalom.
Shalom.